Intermittent fasting for women over 40 is a hot mess. Some experts say it's great, others say it tanks your hormones, and you're stuck in this middle area wondering, will it work for me? Should I try it or not? Here's a problem. It depends on where you are hormonally. What works for a postmenopausal woman or even women in their 20s and 30s can completely backfire for a woman who's in perimenopause. And most of the advice treats all women like we're the same. We're not. I'm Andrea, and I've maintained a 20-pound weight loss over the last 8 years without intermittent fasting. Not because it's bad, but because I learned what works for my body and my hormones at this stage, and I've learned how to maintain it. In this video, I'm breaking down the 3 scenarios where IF could work for women over 40, the 5 red flags that will backfire, and what you can do instead. And by the end, you'll know exactly if intermittent fasting is right for your body at your stage, or if you need a different approach. Let's go. Here's why you've been confused. You're Googling intermittent fasting for women. You see advice all over the place. Your girlfriends are doing it. Your family members are doing it. One article says that it's amazing for weight loss and metabolism, and another article says it wrecks your hormones and makes you gain weight. So which is it? The truth is they're both right. And the reason nobody's giving you a straight answer is because most research doesn't separate perimenopausal women from post or premenopausal women. But your body in these 2 stages is completely different. Let me break it down. If you're postmenopausal, your periods have stopped, your hormones, estrogen and progesterone are low and they're stable, and your body has settled into a new hormonal baseline. The research on IF for postmenopausal women is actually pretty good. Studies show that it can help with weight loss, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce inflammation. Because your hormones are stable, fasting doesn't create this chaos. If you're in perimenopause, your periods are still happening, even if they're irregular. Your hormones are spiking and crashing all over the place all the time. Estrogen goes up and down, progesterone drops, and your body is constantly trying to regulate itself. And fasting is a stressor. It increases cortisol and it triggers your stress response. So for a body that's already hormonally chaotic, adding fasting can increase hormonal fluctuations, increase anxiety and mood swings, disrupt sleep, which is already terrible, stall weight loss, or even cause weight gain. And it can make you ravenously hungry when you finally eat. And here's a part that makes it even more confusing. Perimenopause can last anywhere from like 4 to 10 years, and it's not the same the whole way through. If you're 42 with irregular cycles, you're in a different hormonal place than say a 48-year-old who hasn't had a period in 6 months. Early perimenopause is chaos. Late perimenopause is starting to stabilize. So when you see advice that says intermittent fasting works for women over 40, they might be talking about the late perimenopause or postmenopause women. And then when advice says intermittent fasting tanks your hormones, they might be talking about early to mid perimenopause. Let's quickly clarify what intermittent fasting is. Intermittent fasting is about when you eat, not what you eat or how much you eat. There are 3 common IF protocols. The 16-8 ratio, which means you are fasting for 16 hours, and this usually means you skip breakfast or dinner, and you eat within an 8-hour window. And then you have a 14-10 ratio, which is a little bit of a gentler version. You have 14 hours of fast, and then you have a 10-hour eating window. And then there's your 12-hour overnight fast, which is where you stop eating after dinner around 8 p.m. and you don't eat again until 8 a.m. And this is the mildest version of them all. The length of your fasting window matters. A 12-hour fast is basically just not snacking at night, but a 16-hour fast creates real hormonal impact, especially if you're in perimenopause. IF isn't necessarily good or bad, it's context dependent. And the context that matters most is where you are hormonally. Okay, now you understand why the advice over intermittent fasting is all over the place. But let's get specific. Here are 3 scenarios where IF might actually work for you if you're over 40. Scenario 1, you're postmenopausal or in late stage perimenopause with stable symptoms. If your periods have stopped or are very infrequent, and if your symptoms like hot flashes, sleep, and mood are stable and not getting worse, then your hormones have likely settled a bit. And this is when IF is safest and most likely to work for you. Scenario 2, you're a nighttime snacker and you need structure. If your biggest problem is eating after dinner, like you're snacking on chips or wine or dessert or just like grazing until bedtime, a simple eating window can be really helpful. Not because fasting is magic, but because it gives you a rule and some structure that stops the behavior. But you don't need a 16-hour fast for this. A 12-hour overnight fast where you stop eating by 8 p.m. and don't eat again until 8 a.m. gives you structure without that hormonal stress. And scenario 3, you genuinely don't like breakfast and you feel better without it. Some women aren't hungry in the morning, and if you've never been a breakfast person and eating makes you just feel sluggish or you just like don't have time or feel like doing it, intermittent fasting might be your natural rhythm. And here's a test. Do you feel great without eating in the morning, or are you just powering through? If you're drinking coffee to suppress hunger and you're feeling shaky by 11 a.m. and then you're overeating at lunch because you're starving, then that's not feeling great. That's not when intermittent fasting is the right move for you. That's forcing something that doesn't naturally fit your body. My take is that intermittent fasting doesn't make weight loss faster than regular calorie control. It just makes some people find calorie control easier because they're eating in a shorter window. If you're only trying intermittent fasting because everyone else is, or you're seeing it all over the place, or because you think it's the missing piece or a fad that's going to help you lose weight, that's not enough reason, especially if you're in perimenopause. Now let's talk about when intermittent fasting is a bad idea. And these are the red flags. If you see yourself in even one of these, I would recommend skipping intermittent fasting and trying something else. Red flag number 1, you're in early to mid menopause with intense symptoms. If you're dealing with hot flashes, terrible sleep, anxiety, mood swings, your body is already maxed out on stress. And adding fasting will make everything worse. Red flag number 2, you have a history of disordered eating or restriction. Intermittent fasting can trigger restrictive thinking. If you've struggled with binge eating, emotional eating, or obsessive food rules in the past, fasting can reignite those patterns. You don't need more rules. You need to heal your relationship with food. Red flag number 3, you're combining intermittent fasting with very low calories. And I see this all the time. Women doing that 16-8 ratio and eating 12 to 1400 calories. That is too much restriction. Your body can't function on chronic stress and deprivation. You'll lose weight initially, but then you'll plateau hard, or even worse, you'll gain it all back plus more. And red flag number 4, you feel exhausted, irritable, or ravenously hungry when you fast. Your body is telling you something. If intermittent fasting makes you feel like garbage, you're tired and cranky and obsessed and food focused, it isn't working. It doesn't matter if it works for someone else, it's not working for you. And red flag number 5, you can't see yourself doing this forever. Here's my maintenance test. Can you do this for 5 years? If the answer is no, it's not sustainable. Intermittent fasting isn't a 30-day challenge. If you're planning to do intermittent fasting until you lose weight and then eat normal again, you are setting yourself up to regain that weight back. I've tried intermittent fasting myself in my weight loss journey years ago. I did a 16-8 ratio for about 3 weeks. Week 1, I felt fine. Week 2, I got really hungry mid-morning. Week 3, I was so irritable, my sleep was worse, and I was constantly food focused. And then when I finally would eat, I would eat everything in sight because I was so hungry. And so I stopped. I went back to eating my normal meals and at a normal cadence, and I lost the weight and have kept it off ever since because I found an approach that is sustainable for me. And that's what I want for you. Not a protocol that works for 6 weeks, not some sort of fad, a lifestyle that works for 5 years and beyond. So if intermittent fasting isn't right for you, what should you do instead? Here are some alternatives that work without the hormonal stress of fasting. If your problem is nighttime snacking, you don't need a 16-hour fast. You need to address why you're eating at night. And for most women, we're snacking at night because we're under eating during the day. If you're skipping breakfast, if you're having a light lunch, and by 8 p.m. you are starving, your body's making up for all the food and nutrients that it didn't get throughout the day. So what do you do instead? Eat regular meals during the day. Eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Have a snack or two if you need it. Make sure you're getting enough protein at each meal, at least 20 to 30 grams. And set a simple rule for yourself. Kitchen closes at 8 p.m. No fasting window needed. This gives you the structure of IF without the hormonal stress. If your problem is you don't know what to eat or how much, this is where most women actually struggle. You are playing a guessing game. And when you guess, you either undereat, which makes your metabolism tank, or you overeat, which stalls fat loss or makes you gain weight. What to do instead? Track your food for 1 week. Not to restrict, but to create awareness. Use an app like MyFitnessPal and just see what you're actually eating. See how many calories you're eating a day. Most women over 40 are so shocked to find out that they're actually under eating protein and overeating at night in way of fats and carbs. And once you see your patterns, then you can fix them. You can't change what you can't see. I say this all the time. If your problem is that you want simplicity and structure, intermittent fasting feels simple because it's a rule. Don't eat within this time frame. But there are other ways to create structure that don't stress your hormones. So what to do instead? Eat 3 meals a day at roughly the same times. Build each meal with protein, vegetables, a carb, and a fat. Aim for 100 grams of protein minimum per day. Stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, not for fasting, but for better digestion and for better sleep. This is structure, but it's flexible. You're not watching the clock. You're not suppressing your hunger. You're feeding your body consistently. If your problem is that you want to lose weight and keep it off, intermittent fasting does not make you lose weight faster than eating regular meals with controlled portions. If anybody you know that's doing intermittent fasting and losing weight, it's because they are in a calorie deficit. The research is clear on this. What intermittent fasting does is make some people find portion control easier because they're eating in a shorter window. But if intermittent fasting makes you miserable, and if you don't stick to it, then the weight comes back. So what to do instead? Focus on sustainability, not speed. Aim for at least 60% consistency, not 100% perfection. Eat enough to support your metabolism. Don't go below 14 to 1500 calories. Prioritize protein and strength training because this is what protects your metabolism long term and is going to give you that long term success and sustainability. You don't need intermittent fasting. You need habits that you can maintain. And a lot of women jump to intermittent fasting because it sounds like this weight loss hack, like everybody's doing it, everybody's losing a ton of weight. But the basics work and the basics are sustainable. Eat regular meals, get enough protein, lift weights, be consistent at least 60% of the time. That's how you lose weight and that's how you keep it off. Not by restricting what you eat or creating a eating window, but by building a lifestyle that works for your body at this stage of your life. And now that you've heard the facts, let's make this personal. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself before you try intermittent fasting, or if you're doing it now and you're wondering if you should stop. Question 1, where am I hormonally? Are my periods regular? Are they irregular? Are they gone altogether? Are your perimenopause symptoms mild or are they intense? If you're in early perimenopause with bad symptoms, intermittent fasting is high risk. If you're postmenopausal or late perimenopause with stable symptoms, then it's lower risk and your benefits are higher. If you don't know where you are hormonally, then talk to your doctor, get tested, and make decisions with data, not with guesses. Question number 2, what's my relationship with food and restriction? Do you have a history of yo-yo dieting or binge eating or obsessive food rules or food noise? If yes, intermittent fasting can make those patterns even worse. You don't need more restriction. You need a healthy, flexible relationship with food. And even if you don't have that history, ask yourself, does the idea of fasting feel freeing or stressful? If it feels like another set of rules, another diet that you have to follow perfectly, then that's a red flag. And question 3, can I do this forever? This is a maintenance question. Not can I do this for 30 days to lose weight, but can I see myself eating this way in 5 years from now, in 8 years from now? If the answer is no, if you're just planning to do intermittent fasting until you lose the weight, it's not the right approach. Because when you stop, the weight will come back. If you're thinking maybe IF isn't for me, then that's okay. That's honest assessment of where you are. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. You need to do what works for your body at your stage of life and what's going to be sustainable and work in your lifestyle. So now we know intermittent fasting can work for some women over 40, but your hormonal stage matters more than anything else. What's worked for me to keep my weight off for over 8 years is tracking food for awareness, eating enough protein, regular meals. I eat 3 meals a day with 2 snacks, strength training at least 3 to 4 times a week, and overall 60% consistency and not focusing on perfection because it doesn't exist. The bottom line is you do not need intermittent fasting to lose weight or to keep it off. You need a plan that fits your life, that supports your hormones, and doesn't require perfection or a complete lifestyle overhaul. So if you're still trying to figure out what's actually behind your stalled weight loss, whether it's meal timing, protein, metabolism, or something else, I created a free quiz that will tell you where you are. It's called What's My Metabolism Type, and it takes 2 minutes. You'll get personalized insights into what's holding you back and what to focus on first. The link is in the description below and also pinned in the comments. And if you like this video, that was helpful for you to understand intermittent fasting, and if that works for you and your lifestyle, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to this channel where I break down real evidence-based truth for weight loss for women over 40. Drop a comment below and let me know. Are you currently doing intermittent fasting? Are you gonna try it? Are you gonna skip it? Are you gonna stop it after watching this? I'm so curious. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week.